And some places where we don't have much land area, right, we go for a concept called as vertical gardens, such as these. We can grow the gardens on the walls as creepers and planter boxes, etc. This also is one of the features where you can have ample landscape when you don't have proper plan area. And also a green home is user friendly for all types of people. Let it be for differently abled people or senior citizens. So you'll always find a ramp with handrails, and you'll be having special provisions for parking of disabled friendly people, which will be nearby to your exit or entrance of the building. So next we move to the water module or water conservation. How we can conserve water, minimize our use and minimize the wastage, and make sure we have proper usage. So first thing is rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting, what we do is, wherever the rainwater falls from the roof area, non-roof area, we design the building in such a way that the rainwater runoff, right, it is channelized through your drains and other fixtures, and it is collected in one place. That place either can be a collection pond. If you have a pond in your property, it can be redirected there, or you can have an underground storage tank. If you have an underground storage tank, you can reuse that same rainwater for other purposes like common area cleaning, gardening, or car washing, etc. And there's another method called as the percolation pit or borewells. This concept is for groundwater recharge. So what happens is the surface runoff rainwater would be led into these chambers and pits, and this will enable the ground to absorb the excess rainwater that is being generated. The next concept in which we can quantify and have a tangible measure of water conservation is by using water efficient fixtures. Water efficient fixtures are something which has aerators in them. The aerators are here, as you can see in this corner here. So aerators have certain filters, pressure regulating devices, etc., and also a mixer in that. So what this does is it restricts the full flow of water, mixes air with the water flow, and you get a foam type of water paste. So if you have a conventional tap or a aerated tap, right, it serves the same purpose, but there is a reduction of up to 40% of water coming out without aerators in them. And also the other method we can have is having dual flush cisterns. Based on our need, we can use half the flush or full the flush. And also the one quick way in which we can measure the use of water and its wastage, right? If we have water meters at various levels, let it be for individual dwelling units or your common area application, you can actually monitor how much water is being used and actually what would be the requirement based on the people or occupants over there. So if there is some excessive use of water based on some meter readings, then you'll be able to know if there is any seepage happening, or if the line is broken somewhere, or if someone is excessively using water. You can use corrective measures to ensure that it will be rectified. The next important parameter is energy conservation. In energy conservation, what we do is we design our building in terms of its orientation, in terms of the materials that are going into construction of the building. So what happens is, generally north facing is where we get the maximum sunlight, and south facing is where we get the maximum heat from any building orientation. So based on that, we will design our building's orientation to ensure we are getting minimum heat transfer into the building, and also to ensure the maximum cross ventilation or wind to come through our buildings. So what happens is, these are some of the various building envelopes, right, what we use for the construction in the external part of the building. U value is something from which you can know if the building is energy efficient or not. So basically, higher the U value, right, that means that particular material will entrap more heat, make the inside of the building hot. It acts like an insulating medium in which it traps the heat, and it will also heat up the interior living spaces. So it is very important to know that our normal red bricks, right, they have a U value of 2.6, whereas if you can see our AAC blocks, they have a U value of only 0.48. So that value means that lesser the U value, the more cooler it will be inside the buildings, because that material will not absorb the heat and store the heat in itself. So it is always better to go for AAC block construction for your walls and partitions, etc., for a building, which will reduce your AC needs or cooling needs within the building. So also these are something called as building envelope and passive architecture features, where we have vertical fins, horizontal fins, covered balconies, and in other words, we call it as chejjas, where you have sunshade, sun devices, right? This will block your heat and to some extent some unwanted light also. This will naturally help in cooling your interior of the buildings. Also, the way in which we can conserve more energy and better by implementing energy efficient fixtures in your property. Like instead of using incandescent bulbs or tube lights, right, we can move on to LED lights, LED fixtures, which are consuming less power. And then we can use renewable energy for our needs. Like we can have solar PV cells which generate significant amount of solar power, at least which you can use for your common area lighting and common area properties itself. A solar power cannot power your whole building, at least it can take the load of your common areas. And similarly, we have solar water heaters, which will again reduce our dependency on electric geysers or other means of water heating. And also, it is important that whenever we buy appliances for our homes, right, we look at the BEE star rated labels. Higher the star rating, more energy efficient that equipment is and more energy savings that we'll be getting in terms of our power bills. So this is one image in which we can see natural daylight and natural ventilation is very important. It increases your health and well-being in the mental aspect. You feel good in such places or spaces. These are solar water heaters, and this is a villa project in which they have put complete solar panels on the rooftop. Minimum of 50% of their power load or need is taken by these solar panels themselves. The next important module is material conservation. So in material conservation, what happens is this is applicable during your construction and during post occupancy also. During construction, what we can do is we can identify materials which are nearby to us. So what we would tell is you procure all the raw materials required by you within 400-kilometer radius of your property or project. This will help you in reducing your carbon footprint or the pollution that is created in transporting the material from far off places. That is one thing. Second thing is there's obviously a lot of construction waste that is being generated during construction, right? So if we segregate those waste as and when it happens, like for example your AAC blocks can be resent, powdered again and again, be remade to use as AAC blocks, whereas scrap steel can also be taken, straightened and used in some other purposes or sold to a scrap vendor and he'll be able to reuse it. So the main idea behind this is to ensure that the waste material that is generated, right, it will not be sent to landfill or some dump yard where they'll be staying there for a longer time. The main idea is to reuse as much as possible. So that is what we have during construction. Now post occupancy, right, after the construction happens, the main part is the waste that is generated from each household. So right from the beginning, if we segregate our waste into dry waste and wet waste, the wet waste can be sent to composting units or organic waste converters, and you can use that waste after it is completely composted. You can use it for your own gardening purposes, or you can even sell it to other people who are in need of those compost. That is one way. And also we have a practice of ensuring our projects have 5 colored bins where it's for dry waste, wet waste, paper, glass, e-waste. So all these, if it is segregated at the source, right, and we appoint a proper waste management vendor, he'll be able to take all these waste and he'll be able to further recycle it or reuse it and dispose it off in a better manner and in a more sensible manner. And these are some of the features which we can implement ourselves. Like the organic waste management, right, the second image over here, this is a Kamba system of waste management. Any small individual home that is a single dwelling unit, right, they can buy this composting pot and they can recycle their own organic waste. It just requires 7 days to completely break down and the compost to be formed. Not necessarily that we have to depend on this complete organic waste converter. These are expensive, but each individual household can at least take this sort of a waste management technique to reduce their waste that is going to the landfill. So this is how we properly segregate the waste. I told you about the 5 colored bins, right? This is what is implemented in mega projects that are having multiple apartments in them. So we have wet waste, dry waste, e-waste, glass waste, biohazard waste, etc., which are properly segregated, and a particular waste vendor comes and takes that waste and he'll dispose it off responsibly, or he'll reuse and recycle it in other ways. So this is one of the main organic waste converter that there is. The material shreds the organic waste, reduces the moisture content in it, and then it is put in these curing racks for a period of 7 days, where it further loses its moisture content, breaks down, and we can reuse it for our gardening purposes as manure. Then also I would like to talk about IGBC Green Pro products. IGBC Green Pro also is a particular rating in which we certify products as green, eco-friendly and environment friendly. So we are part of global eco-labeling network, GEN, which is compliant with even European Union norms. So basically, if any product is certified Green Pro, right, we can directly sell those products in the European Union because they're already compliant with those stringent laws. Similarly, a European Union product can be directly sold in India if it is GEN linked. So these are some of the major products which are certified by Green Pro. As you can see, everything from cement, steel, glass, even furniture, cleaning, disinfecting products, everything is certified in Green Pro. There's again some elaborate step and method in which a product is certified green, that we do it based on the product's design, how much recycled content it has, how sensibly they're manufacturing it, based on the life cycle assessment, etc. We certify a product as green. So this would be the last module in which we'll be covering about the green homes, that is indoor environment quality, IEQ. So this basically mainly focuses on the indoor environment, which will help in the health and well-being of the particular occupant. So the main parameters in the IEQ module is, one is daylighting and the second is natural ventilation. So these two factors, if they are maintained in a good way, right, a person living in such a green home or a green space feels healthy, feels more productive and feels more joyful. So the main parts of IQ is ensuring having daylight and ventilation, right? So we should have big windows also which have cross ventilation. Cross ventilation also enables you to not use your fans. If you have cross ventilation windows right on the adjacent sides, there's a natural flow of wind which will keep the room surface, temperature cool, so you will not require the fans or ACs also. So this is a typical example of a well-lit kitchen with ventilation, and here we can see that there's cross ventilation happening because of the adjacent windows in a room. And also we need to have common amenities or recreational places or spaces within the property, like multi-dwelling units, I mean to say. Whereas the young generation of kids or the older senior citizens, right, they can spend some time, walk around and have a good healthy lifestyle. So in green homes which are certified by IGBC, many of the projects have a common amenity area like this, play area for children and a walking space for senior citizens and others, etc. like that. As you can see here, it's a jogging track is there, exclusive jogging track in the property. As I mentioned earlier, these are the grass pavers which help in reducing your heat. This is also very important, right? When we look out of our window or look out of an open space, when we see greenery or natural landscape, our thinking becomes positive and it becomes more healthier. So this is one of the important points where you have connectivity to the outdoor environment. We feel better when we see something that is naturally green rather than seeing another building adjacent to us. So this is also one important aspect in our green homes. So in conclusion, I would like to say that a green home reduces energy and water consumption, enhances the health and well-being of the occupants, and it is profound in terms of its impact. So once again, thank you all for listening to me, and welcome to our property show, which is going to be ending today. Thank you for your support.